You're listening to Internet Radio America, the radio revolution.
And now on Internet Radio America, it's Liz Havlin, Crafted with Pride. The call-in phone number tonight is 617-381-4700. And now, here's Liz Havlin.
Thank you, Frank. Good evening, America. Welcome to Crafted with Pride, Made in the USA with Liz Havlin. Boy, I had a busy day, let me tell you, not just to make it about me, but I've been all over Washington State today and shaking hands and meeting folks that are interested in making Made in the USA apparel, Made in the USA anything, everything from pepper jelly to things I just can't even talk about. They're so top secret. But a busy day, made it here in time, and so happy to have you listening. And so how the show is seeming to, come together is that every week we'll have some of the same things and some different things. So, for example, some of the things that we're always going to have is we're always going to have a woman in business. We're always going to have Mark Reasbeck, CEO of USAonly.us, which is a fantastic directory of everything made in the USA, especially the mom and pops that you wouldn't normally find. And then we have a new segment for my new friend Josh Miller, and Josh Miller is making a film about living off everything only, let me back up, about living off of Made in the USA only, everything from food to clothes, and so I guess we'll see how that goes, huh? And then if you're interested in calling in, the lines are always open, and Frank, can you give us that number again?
Yep, it's 617-381-4700.
Okay, and so Frank, can you give us some tips about, because now this is our second show, Crafted with Pride, Made in the USA, and our first show went fairly well. So what are some tips we can give people about calling in?
About calling in, first thing you want to do is most of them make the mistake of keeping their speakers on. So turn your speakers down. Because otherwise,
so if you're listening to Craft with Pride on internetradioamerica.com/American Made, if you're listening to us there, then please, as soon as you hear the call answer, then maybe even close the page so there's no feedback.
Yeah, so turn the speakers down.
Yeah, turn the speakers down. And then what about if we get 3 or 4 people in here talking about Made in the USA? Should we raise our hand and then you'll call on us?
What do you mean, if they're calling?
Mm-hmm.
We have a little. We have a new doorbell system right now.
Oh yes. Well, I was wondering why Deborah gets a doorbell and I didn't. I had to make my own. I was thinking every time I said something, it would say Hallelujah. And then when someone's coming in the room.
Yeah, that's Gail Allen came up with that whole doorbell thing. She has this nice show where she's at the
That's
dinner.
on Sundays. I love her show.
Yes.
I love her show. And, and what's it called?
That show is called Gail Allen's The Dinner Table. So it's
The Dinner Table.
She tries to invite people in. You ring the doorbell and you pull up, you have a cup of coffee, and you just, it's like the old days where families sat down at night. So I like the concept.
Yeah, so you sit down and you kind of just jump in there. It's kind of like the dinner table. Come fourth, because if you come fifth, there may not be anything left. So you just gotta jump in there and then figure your way out, because she invites you and you sit down and everyone's talking about something. So listen for maybe a couple minutes on internetradioamerica.com before you call in to a show, because then you kind of know what people are talking about. Correct?
That's correct. And this is the sound. You can hear it now, right? Did you hear that?
Good. I did.
Okay.
Good. It's my imaginary friend. Yes. Yes. Okay, so Craft with Pride, Made the USA. So I'm listening to the news today. It's on ABC, and they're talking about how American pilots are going to job fairs in China, because China is holding these huge elaborate. Oh, looks like we have a caller. Who could it be?
Hi, is this Liz?
It is Liz. Oh, I bet Liz. I know who this is. This is Elise.
Who is this? Eileen. Eileen.
I was close. Eileen from Chattahoochee Pencil Company, correct?
Pencil Company. Yes. That is correct.
Yes. And then what town are you in? You're in Georgia.
We're based in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes.
Atlanta, Georgia. Mm-hmm. So, well, welcome to the show, Craft with Pride, Made in the USA, everybody. This is Eileen, and she is our woman in business, for this evening. So tell us about the moment when you thought, gosh, let's start a pencil factory.
It kind of started with my background was actually in social work, and I had I think like a lot of social workers become burned out from doing that kind of work. So I had reached a point where I was kind of looking to make a career change. And my brother-in-law he manufactures products here made in the USA that are used in the industry. They're actually parts for paper machines. It's in the process of how paper is made. So,
good. So manufacturing for manufacturing.
Yes. So it started over a family dinner one night. We were sitting on the table, and it's a graphite composite material. And so we're all saying, what can we do with this stuff? What else can we do with it? So
where does this stuff come from? So what is it again? It's a carbon, what is it?
It's a graphite composite-based material.
Okay, so is it like a byproduct of anything, or is it?
No, the material is used in a different industry, in the paper industry, in a certain area of the paper machine. So without getting into too many technical aspects of the project, but so we just, since it's a graphite product that writes like a pencil and makes a mark, we kind of said, well, I could start a business. So with some family help and some investments, that was the birth of the Chattahoochee Pencil Company. So we started. So
is it a family business? Is it a family business then?
It is. My mother started in the business with me. She was had worked for 30 years in recruiting, and she'd retired. And then I think she got bored for a little while and wanted to jump back in the game. So she came in the beginning and was helping me out. We were doing trade shows together. We got started in the art material world. Since our product is like a pencil mark it's like an HB in color, and there's different grades of pencils. So we started with the art world, and we were selling it there. And artists, they like, different shapes, different colors, all those things. So we kind of looked and said, who else could, use this material? So we had some contractors doing some work and said, hey, this would be a great pencil because we hate the traditional wooden pencil because they break, number one. You go through
sharpen
them. Sharpen them. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's change the shape of it. Well, in the process, before all that happened, a buyer from a large retailer who is based in Atlanta found our art product in a local store here in Atlanta and said, hey, can I speak to a large account manager, which at that time really is my mother and I, and said, hey, we'd like you to come over to our corporate headquarters and present to us. And
good. So they found you. So they found you at a trade show. Then that's where
they found us actually. The product was not product, and they found us in a local retailer here in Atlanta, at a local store in a local neighborhood. A friend of mine had a shop, and we were just selling them. She had like a general store kind of.
Right. And so there's a retail buyer. So there's a retail buyer walking around looking at all the different products.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was the containers and storage person for this large big box retailer. So they said, we would need to change the packaging. Can you, change the packaging? We're going to want to try it out in 1,700 stores across the country. So it was kind of like, oh yeah. So we changed the packaging, we changed the labeling, and that's, if you check out our website, ChattahoocheePencilCompany.com. The first product you see is the art pencil. It's the artist tool, and that has the green label. Then they morphed into the marking tool, which was going to be geared toward this large home improvement retailer. And then so everything was, we were all in the go stage. Well, then we took it to the National Hardware Show in Las Vegas, and it won. Our little marking tool won. I guess it was kind of the equivalent of Best in Show. They had a
awesome
product, and we won this award and got all sorts of acclaim for it. And so then the buyer who had found it had left the large retailer, and so we kind of got lost in their maze. Just kind of got lost in that retailer's kind of just So it kind of went round and around, and so then, as I said, everyone, the shape initially is kind of a chunky C shape, kind of stands for Chattahoochee, our interesting, unique shape.
So you could make maybe custom shapes then for people if they're a company.
We can. We've looked into doing that. It'd have to be large volumes because there'd be a dye involved in getting it made and stuff. It depends on the shape. But
so
anyway,
then how about colors? Can you get any color with a large enough order?
No, we don't do colors. It's just a graphite-based product, so it's just that number. It's equivalent like an HB in the art world. So just makes a good multi-purpose mark. So
how long was the time between when you sat around the dinner table and thought, "Gosh, let's do this," kind of as a family almost, to actually having your item like in a store, like in your friend's store? How long did that?
I would say that was in the fall of 2005, and then I think we did our first art materials trade show in 2006, and we got it in retailers probably 6-7 months.
Okay.
Yes, I would say, I'd say there. But then, as I said, with the art material world, we got it, and I kind of had this map up that I would check off every day and go through. Mm-hmm. When I did the trade show, you get great contacts, you meet tons of people, and so I was determined to get it in all 50 states, and I think I got it in at that point like 48. So just in the art world.
Oh, good. Well, congratulations. Good job.
Yeah,
good
so
job.
I was just trying to check them off one at a time. And then, as I said, we had shown it to a contractor who was doing some work for my own number, and they said, make it in the shape of a traditional wood pencil, just like a carpenter's pencil. If you can make it in that shape, it's great. We love it. So we changed its shape and took that one to a Canadian trade show and the National Hardware Show in Canada, and the Canadians loved it, and this particular large box retailer's Canadian division loved it, says, this is great, this is wonderful, but you're too small. You need to partner with someone bigger. So it's like, okay. Yeah, so we partnered with someone bigger, and this company is a very large player in the world of traditional wooden carpenter's pencils, and so we were brought under his brand. And then I think it was this was all leading up into 2007, 2008, and then you had the collapse of the housing market and the construction industry and basically the financial collapse. So everything just kind of went downhill, and so it kind of just got lost in his, list of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of products. So we took it. So then, since we weren't selling it in the U.S. because they had this other company that I partner with, they had the deal to sell it here because they had larger distribution channels. And another attempt was made.
Well, that's really interesting because you invented a product and then you went to Canada to sell it, and they told you you'd like you to partner with another company, and then you couldn't sell it in the U.S. anymore. So,
well, I entered. It was an agreement to sell it with a larger distributor in the U.S. So it was more of the distribution channel. That's kind of one of the big problems. I think I took.
So would you recommend? So would you recommend people, like if you have a product and you've gotten it so far and then someone big wants it, would you advise them for or against partnering with a bigger company?
It depends on what product you have and what, I don't know if this company that I partnered with, if it was the circumstances with the economic downturn of the economy, or if he bought the rights to tie us up for a few years and maintain, because this company has 40% of the world's traditional carpenter's pencil market. So we're kind of our product, when it takes over, and I say when it takes over, it becomes more. It would cannibalize his market. So so I'm not really, as I said, I'm not sure what his motives are. But to answer your question, it just really depends on the circumstances. In terms of if you need large distribution, if you want to work with a major retailer, which that's volume.
So if you could do it again, would you have not partnered with that company then?
I would change the terms of the contract. The contract was, I would make sure that there were more minimum order requirements in certain periods of time, so that I had more larger volumes and income coming in instead of the deal as it's set up. But
I have exciting news. I have exciting news for you. So I think you should, let them know that you need a minimum order, or you're going to go out of business, and maybe they'll let you sell in the U.S. And if they do, we have like 18 Made in the USA stores already in the U.S., and I'm sure they'd love to carry it.
Well, I'm actually the deal expired. Exclusivity expired in 2011. So I am selling it. I am selling it in the U.S. So there is
you'll have to email me and back, and then I'll put you in touch with these stores, and we'll get your Chattanooga pencil healthy. Chattahoochee.
Right.
Yes.
Chattahoochee.
All right. So,
yes.
So Eileen, tell us your website really super clear, and then we're going to go to a break, here in just a minute. Okay, go ahead.
It's ChattahoocheePencil.com, and it's ChattatahoocheePencil.com. AHOOCHEE pencil.com.
And tell me, where did the name...
One other quick thing I want to say about our company. Since my background in social work was that, I always wanted to make a difference in the world and give back. Well, with our pencil, it is 100% made here in Atlanta, Georgia. And we work with the Bobby Dodd Institute. We've also worked with the Tommy Novus Institute, which are local companies that hire handicapped and disabled workers who normally couldn't find regular employment due to their disability. So they do large orders for us for assembly. So it's like, we're making a difference in people who normally couldn't get a job, and they're helping assemble the pencils and, pack them up, ship them out, that kind of thing. So,
bravo, Eileen.
Keep it 100% made. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, and really small business drives charities and nonprofits. Oh, and look who we have here. I think we have Mark Reasbeck, CEO of USAonly.us.
I'm here. Hey, Eileen, good to hear you. I already heard that conversation once before when you signed up for my website, so I was familiar with it.
That's right. Yes, Mark and I connected. I think he found me because I was on ABC News' world website, and our product is being used on the All-American Made in America home, which is in Bozeman, Montana. So our pencils are being used on that product. It's a house that was being built with 100% American-made building products. It's kind of an ABC News and that employer covered it. Fascinating piece.
That's correct.
Yeah. So an interesting part, you should talk to Anders Lewandal in Montana. He's doing amazing things over there about promoting American-made
Mark, there's your homework.
Yeah.
Oh, he's already on my website.
Yeah. So, Eileen, Mark is on every week, so you'll have to tune in next week on InternetRadioAmerica.com because he has a segment on Crafted with Pride called Who Would Have Thunk? And you were one of those stories.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you for helping spread the word with the Chattanooga Pencil Company.
You bet.
Mark is awesome. All right, Eileen. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and I hope you listen in. You can always call in and ask Mark those hard questions.
Thank you, and you'll be getting email from me about getting my pencils in your stores.
That's right, Made in the USA. Made in the USA stores. Hooray. Okay, thank you. Good night.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. Mark Reasbeck, CEO of USAonly.us. Hooray. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
It was good to make the connection with Eileen through a couple emails, and it's amazing how we're making the connections.
That's right. Well, everybody is working on the same thing. Made in the USA. How do we get there? Who's going to make it? Who's going to buy it? What stores is it going to be? What is it? And I really appreciate your segment, Who Would Have Thunk, because Mark Reasbeck is bringing us these stories of these people that he's interviewed to be on his Made in the USA website.
Right. Well, the coolest one I'm going to start out with is last week you had Joe Coy on, who's running for state senator in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And while he was on your show, I was listening to him, and I found his website. I emailed him, and he called me the next day. And
he's like that. He'll call you back.
Yeah, he's very personable. And we talked for probably an hour and found out about his cabinet shop and all that. And I said, well, why don't you post your company on my website? It doesn't matter if you're not going to ship to Alaska, but people in South Carolina and the surrounding area can find you. Mm-hmm. And so he did. He signed up. And then his wife apparently posted it on Facebook, and I got a company signed up the next day who said they saw it on Facebook by a lady named Coy, and he was a shed company building, metal sheds for across the country in New Jersey.
Oh, such a small little world.
Oh, yeah. That's the networking of having these sites like this. You just don't know where the people are going to connect. It just it blows my mind every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, Made in the USA, it is top of mind nowadays, and and like I was saying before, you came on. It's like so here's Eileen, and she's like, and then in a group decision, they're going to make a pencil out of this composite material, and you always wonder people's motivation. Did they just because it was a conversation? Is it fun to invent a product? And so I really appreciate you bringing the women in business on the show, because there's a lot of women out there listening tonight. And they're interested.
Yeah, very good.
All right, now we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Internet Radio America, the radio revolution.
Wednesday night on Internet Radio America. It's the show that all Americans are talking about. It's American made. It's a show about American products. Deborah Wright hosts American Made, a show about American manufacturers, and find out where to get American-made products. Sponsored by thegroupit.com. It's American Made on Internet Radio America, Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern.
100% natural nutraceutical supplements created to help you with your personal health goals. Our products will help you achieve them. We've created over 150 supplements, from amino acids, sports nutrition, fat burners, organics, joint health, protein powder, protein bars, and many more. FH, creating a healthier you. Come visit us on the web at www.f-h.co. That's www.f-h.co.
Hi, my name is Adrian Williams. I host a radio show on Internet Radio America called What's With America. Our 60-minute show examines important political, social issues and ideas in plain and simple terms that avoid party politics and cowardice talking points, giving you and your opinions an opportunity to compete against the controlling noise of corporate-driven media. Join the conversations Mondays at noon on Internet Radio America.
You're listening to Internet Radio America, the radio revolution.
Let's get back to Liz Havlin, Crafted with Pride on Internet Radio America.
Welcome back to Craft with Pride, Made in the USA, and we are with Mark Reasbeck, CEO of USAonly.us, and he's here with his segment, Who Would Have Thunk? Interesting stories from the world of Made in the USA. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, I'm okay. I had a few companies sign up this week that were kind of interesting.
Okay.
I need to preempt it.
Okay.
They did a story on my website in a kind of an obscure magazine. It's called Rural Light. And
Rural Life?
Light, L-I-T-E.
Okay.
And it's for the independent electrical co-op across the West in Alaska and Hawaii. And there's a lot of them up in your area, up in Washington and Oregon. There's a lot of electric co-ops. Well, I didn't realize it, but the magazine has about a 300,000 circulation.
Well, my goodness, we do want to be in there then.
Yes. And so anyway, there's a story done on me with a lady here in Pahrump, Nevada. She used to be a newspaper reporter. Now she's doing some freelance stuff. And we got the article in there, and Rural Light comes out once a month, and like I said, across the West and Alaska and Hawaii. And one by one, I've been getting new companies signing up. Probably
terrific.
Close to 30 companies have signed up just from reading it in the Rural Light. Plus, I've got several dozen emails from people encouraging me, telling me that they're so glad they found it. They want to shop on it. They've already visited it. They've already bought stuff. I mean, it's just amazing. So here's a company.
So is it worth it? Is it worth it, all those sleepless nights wondering how you're going to pay the bills as an entrepreneur in America? But, I mean, at least it's rewarding. Like, you deserve to have people do that because you've been working on this for how long? When did you start on USAonly.us?
The idea goes back to probably 07, 08. And it took about a year to put it together and to get the website designed to where it was going to be functional. And I had two options at the time.
Well, what came first? What came first, like the name, or what's like the first thing that you do? So you're like, okay, I have an idea for Made in the USA. So what do you do first?
Well, I'm an idea guy, and I just, I think I'd mentioned before that it started out with a porch swing, and I couldn't find one made in America, and I just literally drew a line in the sand one day and said, I am tired of big box stores giving me no choice. And I found one made in Louisiana, and what the lady said when I wrote a magazine article about it what her response was that America can't remain a superpower unless we back our mom and pop and small businesses.
That's right.
And that spurred it to do it. And then I found a guy. I sat down with lunch with him, and I says, I have an idea for a website. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just got an idea. And we ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it took almost a year to get it formatted because the option was we could throw it up there, make it work, and have to rebuild it later. And I said, no. I don't want to lose momentum. I want this thing to go on to eternity. And
that's right. So when you're building something, you're building something, right? So when you're building something, you're building it. So people should think about that. So they're like, okay, I have a great idea. Go out and see if somebody else maybe is doing it first. And then whatever you decide to build, then just build it well, whatever it is.
Well, I spent a lot of time on other people's websites that are similar, but I wanted to do mine different. I wanted to focus on mom and pop. The small, medium companies. I'm not interested in General Motors and all the stuff that's going on there. It's just the little guys that are really the backbone. And then also, my emphasis was on painting a picture, putting a face on each company.
That's right.
Instead of just having a giant phone book or a giant word search or just a page with a bunch of products you can buy, I wanted a personality attached and information about the company, how long they've been in business. My great-grandfather started it. I've got people who started last year in the deep recession, started a new business. So I wanted all those stories to connect. So when people look at their website, it's not a third-world country that they're so far removed from.
Exactly. It's like an introduction. So if you're looking for a Made in the USA product and you're online, you have the time to just browse companies, see what you like. If you have questions, you can probably call, a USA phone number and get someone to answer your questions, right?
Well, everybody has a biographical picture of the company, the website, the phone number. Most cases, there's a city and town. We list them by state, so you can shop regionally if you want to find companies in your area, as well as the categories. But it's all set up to make it super easy to navigate and find product in the shortest amount of time.
Okay, good. Well, I want to hear some stories. So, okay, here we go. Mark Reasbeck, USAonly.us with Who Would Have Thunk?
Yeah, well, who would have thunk? I got a call from, or somebody signed up, and I try to call everybody back, and because that's how I get my stories and how I understand their business. This is an interesting one, and it's up in your neck of the woods in Prineville, Oregon.
Prineville, Oregon, okay.
It's called BTL Lining Incorporated.
Okay.
And they make pond liners.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure that you're going to run out tomorrow and buy a pond liner.
I might.
But for those who do, this is the place that's been doing it since 1981. They've got 22 employees. But as I talked to the owner named Brad Elliott, he was telling me that 2011, 2010, and possibly 2012 will outdo those other 2 years. But he had record years in 2010 and 2011.
Exactly,
you know
like
why?
20%. No, why?
Because he's shipping the liners to the Dakotas where they're doing the oil rigs.
I know. Let's talk about the oil rigs right now. Okay, so America, if you're listening, even if it's just like my mom and my friend, okay, listen. So now America is growing, and so they struck oil in North Dakota, right? They're in the middle of the nowhere. They need stores. They need clothes. They need items. They need housing. They need taco wagons. Every taco wagon within the sound of my voice, please drive to North Dakota. I mean, my friend's son is posting on Facebook, and his mom's saying, he's going to North Dakota. There's so many jobs. And I said, great, because I'm going to have people that I know there on the ground, and let's get some Made in the USA stuff up there. Let's get some blueberry rakes up there. I don't know. What do they need? So there needs, if you're listening and you know someone in North Dakota, have them let us know. Just let somebody know. USAonly.us. craftedwithpride.us. Just let us know what's happening in North Dakota, and maybe we can get some connections going for people.
Right. Well, where I was going with that is, who would have thunk that these guys building pond liners and lagoon liners is what they call them, would find a niche in the oil business in the Dakotas, and this is something you would never ever think about.
So they're not using them for ponds?
Drilling.
There's not like millions of little ponds out there? So what are they doing with them?
They have to line, apparently when there's spillage and overage and all that stuff, they don't want it to seep into the ground.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
So they use the pond liners to make sure that the overage is secured.
Genius.
Yeah, but, I mean, who would have thought that this little business would be
Oregon
affected by oil drilling in North Dakota?
Mm-hmm.
So the big picture is... Yeah, go ahead.
So how did the folks in North Dakota find the company in Prineville? Because obviously you weren't part of the picture yet, but, that'd be interesting because maybe that would be a connection for us to like, hey, does anybody else need anything out there? I don't have that connection. Okay. All right. Anyways.
but what I'm getting at is that the oil industry, when it's left to do what it does, it connects with so many people that we're so far removed from. I mean, here's this little guy building pond liners, and he's having his best year because of oil being drilled in one state. Mm-hmm. So just take that and magnify it on different products and different companies across America, if we could just be unleashed.
Hey, so I wonder if any of the companies that are like drilling for natural gas, what is that called, fracking or whatever? I wonder if they're American companies. Do you know?
Not sure. Usually the drilling companies are kind of a conglomerate.
Oh, so yeah?
That's hard to pinpoint. And since they wouldn't be on my website, I haven't done too much research on it.
Okay. All right, interesting.
Let me give you another little one that popped up through this Rural Light connection.
Okay.
There's a husband and wife and their name is Lucas, and they're in Coquille, Oregon. I guess that's how you say it, Coquille. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they make all occasion cards and greeting cards and things like that, but they're pictures of this lady's paintings that she's done for 30 years.
Oh.
And I went to the website, because I always go to the website when somebody signs up to make sure it's active, and I called, to make sure everybody's, good with it, and I called them and talked to them, and I said, I went on your website, and I looked at some of your pictures, and I said, my first reaction was, you're selling 13 cards for $30, and I go, that's pretty expensive. And then I started thinking, well, wait a minute, greeting cards are $2 and $3 a piece for the printed stuff that you can buy thousands of them. This is a pretty good bargain. When you buy 12, you get 12 and you get a 13th free.
And it's crafted with pride. It's crafted with pride. So who is this? Tell us, who is this? The cards.
They're called Chisholm Lucas Creations.
Chisholm Lucas Creations. So
CHISUM Lucas LUCAS Creations.
Okay.
And their website is ChisholmLucasCreations.com.
Oh. Well, then email me her info or forward us on to her, because she'd be a great guest, too. And so, well, yeah, so if there's any photographers out there, just about anyone could actually do Made in the USA personalized cards, couldn't they? Just for a little side business. And then you'll take those kind of businesses. So if you're a small business, and as long as you have your business license, then you can be on, and you're Made in the USA, then they can be on usaonly.us, correct?
Yeah, they have to have some kind of web page, because that's what people look at. We're kind of on the bubble with Facebook pages, because they're not quite
right.
Enough information. We'd prefer everybody to just have a website.
So what's the process so walk me through the process for signing up for usaonly.us. So you're a small business, you have your business license, you have a web page of some sort, you have a contact phone number, and then
well, most importantly, your stuff's got to be made in USA.
Okay.
And the first year that I had this running, it was all recruiting. It was me sitting at my desk, calling people and trying to get them to go on the website and look at my pages, and just kind of butting in the middle of their day. And
people love that, don't they? They love it when you call them up and ask them something. They're like, "Oh, I'm so busy. What do you want?" And then you say, "Made in the USA, Made in the USA, Made in the USA," and they start to listen, I think.
Well, I guess I've got a pretty good approach now because I don't get hung up on it. I don't get pushed aside. I get delayed sometimes, but I think they see the benefit to everybody. We're all in this together, and by joining up on this, it just gives them one more tentacle out there that people can find them and be reached.
Okay,
So,
Mark. So I'm going to ask you, like the hard question. Here's the hard question, kind of like Pierce Morgan. Have you ever been properly in love? Mark, what's in it for you? Made in the USA. What's in it for you? Please tell us, because you're not making any money. This has been what you do, right? And you have over 1,000 businesses signed up. So why are you doing this?
Yeah, it's driven on passion and a pocketbook. Because the experts told me, because I'm not a computer guy, said that you're going to need 18 to 24 months to get your message out there, to get the traffic, to get the vendors, and, to be out there and playing with the big boys.
Yeah.
With the coming on board with ABC News last April, it kicked us in the butt big time because we're posted first on their resource list.
Awesome.
And it really started getting less recruiting and just companies finding me. Well, now, like I said, we're out there. We're coming back to Facebook. People are finding on Facebook. I had a guy tell me his cigar shop guy told him about our website.
Awesome.
Little things are happening all over the place. And so we're in the midst of putting together the advertising program, which should kick off. And so, I need to support this thing. And
right. So what can the USA do for you? You've done so much for Made in the USA. You have it ready. So of the people that are listening tonight, if you could say, hey, this is the ground floor. This is my baby, my USAonly.us. This is what the USA can do for me to help just shift the load a little bit and help us all push it forward. What can we do for you? Tell us.
What can everybody do for me?
Yep. What can we do for you?
Wow.
You've been doing I know, isn't that something?
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that, except I ask everybody when they sign up, and most people are that way. They say, well, how can we do it? Well, if you sign up your company, put a link with my website on your site. So when people are shopping and finding yours, they're going to find me. But the biggest thing is people with their personal email address book, just send the link out and say, hey, we're supporting the companies on here. We believe in buying American products, and this is a good website to find stuff made in America, and just send it out there. And that's where the best mileage is coming from. It's great.
It's recommendation.
ABC News. Yeah, ABC News is great, but that's kind of a time date stamp. I mean, it's kind of a flash in the pan. It's got a shelf life. But if you, as a believer in buying American products, send this website or any of them like it to your friends and say, hey, take a look at this. Like-minded people will go, I'm going to favorite this and start using it.
Yeah, and pass it around.
Yeah, I've had a couple of vendors on my website tell me that most of their traffic for their website is coming from mine.
That's right, like Kangles. Awesome. Like Kangles, she said the best thing that she ever did was get on your website, and she's got more and more orders, Kangles.com, Kangles with a C. And then real fast, before we go, I just want to thank you for hanging in there. And then also, too, are we going to pick a day for which, shall we pick a date for everyone will try to buy Made in the USA on that day? Do we want to pick that date? Someone was saying maybe Independence Day, July 4th. What do you think about that?
I launched my website on 4th of July, 2010. It's a great day.
So it'll be like your 2-year anniversary. So we'll do something fun on the website, maybe do a contest. We'll think of something. We'll give away something Made in the USA, maybe get everyone to participate, have a little fun. How does that sound?
And it doesn't take a lot of effort. It really doesn't.
Oh.
All right, it was great talking with you.
All right, thank you, Mark. USAonly.us. All right, see you next week.
All right.
You're listening to Internet Radio America, the radio revolution.
100% natural nutraceutical supplements created to help you with your personal health goals. Our products will help you achieve them. We've created over 150 supplements, from amino acids, sports nutrition, fat burners, organics, joint health, protein powder, protein bars, and many more. FH, creating a healthier you. Come visit us on the web at www.f-h.co. That's www.f-h.co.
Wednesday night on Internet Radio America. It's the show that all Americans are talking about. It's American made. It's a show about American products. Deborah Wright hosts American Made, a show about American manufacturers, and find out where to get American made products. Sponsored by thegroupit.com. It's American Made on Internet Radio America, Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern. Wednesday night on Internet Radio America. It's Beans and Apples. It's all about New York and Boston. Sox and Rowdy host the show, Beans and Apples. It's about the sports. It's about the culture. It's about the fans. It's about New York and Boston. It's Beans and Apples. Every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock on Internet Radio
You're
America.
listening to Internet Radio America, the radio revolution.
All right, let's get back to Liz Havlin, Crafted with Pride, Made in the USA.
That's right. Crafted with Pride, Made in the USA. Good evening, America. I'd like to welcome a special guest, one that will be on for the last 15 minutes of every show. This is Josh Miller, and he is here to tell us about his Made in the USA journey. Go ahead, Josh.
Hi, Liz. Are you there?
I am here, Josh Miller.
How's it going?
Hey, it's going great. I got stuck between a couple trains. Remember, I talked to you on the phone. I was almost to the office. Got stuck between some trains, and I got here 3 minutes before the show started. So it was a heart pounder.
I'll tell you what. Every time I sign on your guys' website, I get excited. It just makes me think about the upcoming journey and adventure that we're on. I guess I should make a formal introduction myself. My name's Josh Miller. I'm from Charleston, West Virginia. And right now, I'm currently working a 40-hour job right now. I'm basically working 2 jobs right now in the evening. I'm trying to get prepared for this film. I'm definitely pretty excited about it. And, if you guys want to come check us out, we're on USA30days.com, and you can find out about our journey and possibly how you can contribute and sponsor. But, I'm sure we need to get into the nuts and bolts of this. I guess we should start off. What kind of questions do you have for me? Actually, you know what? Before we jump into that, I have a question for you. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I thought it'd be interesting.
Go ahead.
I'm going to ask this to everybody I see on the street, all these interviews that I'm going to have. What does Made in the USA mean to you?
Thank you. And that's a fantastic question. What does Made in the USA mean to me? Well, Made in the USA means America working together. That's what it means to me.
I think that's a good way to start. And actually, you answered that perfect. That's what I expect to hear. Because that's one thing about this film. And a lot of people might be kind of wary of it. I don't know. I mean, it's a good concept.
Well, you know what, Josh, do something for me. So when you're out there interviewing people, will you ask a 4-year-old that question and see what they say?
I sure will. I think that would be an interesting thing to do. And like I was saying, with the upcoming film, I think people. I've tried to secure some interviews with politicians.
Okay. All right. So what's the name of the film? And what's the premise? What's the name?
It's Made in the USA: The 30-Day Journey. Okay. And the one-liner for the film is we're willing to die for our country, but are we willing to buy for it? And I think that sums it up in a nutshell. I mean, this economy right now is tough. I mean, 13 million people unemployed, and people just want to go back to work. And I think that we need to find a way. And this is kind of what I was getting into. Is I don't think that this is a Democrat or Republican issue.
It's not political.
Yeah, and I hope it doesn't become political to a sense where, a party tries to grab onto it and think it's theirs.
Well, they're all trying to do that. They're all trying to do that, but what's really fun is that NASCAR's doing it too. And everybody's doing it. I mean, everybody's jumping on the Made in the USA bandwagon, so I bet you're going to get some great answers to your question. What does Made in the USA mean to you?
Exactly. But in a sense, too, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's a good idea that one party jumps on and thinks it's theirs. But then again, it's a good thing because we're talking about it. We're
That's
engaging.
Right. It starts the conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thing. And the film is more about unity. We're going out there to find out, what Made in the USA means to people. And, we're the United States for a reason, and I think when times are
United
tough,
States of America, that's right. We are, USA.
Yeah, I mean, we're united. When our backs are against the wall, I think is when we're at the strongest. We took a few hits. America is not weak by any means. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say, well, America is weak right now.
No, we're a little fat. I think America's a little fat. That's what I think. It's like looking around America and looking at myself. And I'll be honest, I'm not huge, but I'm just, America's fat and lazy, and we're just so used to people doing stuff for us, and we got to go to work. I'm afraid because there's a whole generation of people that only know how to touch stuff, and they can't even and they just can't even think or create or invent, and that's what scares me. Yeah, I mean, even at our weakest, though, we're the most powerful consumer economy in the world, and we can dictate what happens based on what we want. And right now I just think, and without trying to go into the political side of things, is this what we're doing right now. It's almost like an addiction or a drug to me. People go out and they go and buy the cheapest things because it feels good, and they're addicted to shopping. They're addicted to shopping. Yeah. What's funner than shopping? Anything else in the whole world. I'm telling you, anything is more fun than shopping. Go to your friend's house. Don't go to the mall. Don't shop. Don't buy stuff because just don't. Yeah, it's. I don't know. We just go out and we always we look for that cheap deal, and it's encoded in our brains. I mean, we look at it like, oh, that's the cheap stuff. I'm going to save money on it, but we don't look at the long-term, effects of things sometimes. And I just think that that's natural. And, and that's another reason we're going to try to raise awareness here, because there are consequences to that. There have been terrible consequences for us sending all our jobs overseas. You are correct. Yeah, and right now, we are still, a lot of people don't realize it, but we're still the leading manufacturer in the world. I mean, we're starting to lose that title a little bit, each year at a time, a little bit at a time to different countries. But, I like I said, we're still strong, and I think that, this film is going to open some eyes and try to get some real answers and not, talking points, So have you decided where you're going to go first? Have you decided on your first, city? I am going to the heart of it all, and I'm going to spend a few days in Washington, D.C. And I've tried my best to try to get, senators, and I've even tried to talk to the president, try to see if he would talk to me or some of the candidates, out there right now, like Rick Santorum, Mitt Romney. I've tried to engage. Well, maybe we can help you with that. So anybody out there that's listening, I know I have at least one politician listening. So let's get Josh Miller in front of a politician that supports a Made in the USA without making it political. But let's just, exactly. I want to talk to politicians. I don't care if you're the most liberal Democrat or the most conservative Republican. I think that we are all in this together. We may have some different views, but like I said, when times are tough, that's the beauty of America, is that we unite, and when our backs are against the wall. Can I ask you a question? Hey, so then, have you ever been in the military? No, ma'am. Actually, I'll tell you what. If I wouldn't have went down the path that I did, I would have loved to serve in the military. Kind of a past about me. What branch would you have served in? What branch? The Marines. The Marines, that's right. Hoorah. That's hoorah. We got a Marine out there listening tonight, I know. Yeah, my father-in-law was a Marine. He's a Marine, and, I have a lot of history in my family. My grandfather fought in the Korean War. We have a lot of military history in our family, and I would have loved to. But, the area I went to college. I played baseball. I had a scholarship. I played Division II at West Virginia State University. Oh.
I was an All-American there, and I played a couple years of independent professional ball, and it ended with a shoulder injury. And
okay.
Things like that happen. It's just that's a fact of life. We move on, and it was a great career. But now I'm
so we move on and we mend up. So we move on, we mend up, and we're like, okay, now we're not going to be playing pro ball. So what can I do for my country?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you what, the past few years after I was done playing ball, you got to realize you dedicate yourself to something your entire life, and all of a sudden it's gone. It's gone in a second, and it was tough on me. So a couple of years, I kind of fell into a little bit of a funk, and I kind of got re-energized. This concept, kind of really jumped on. And
so when was the first time? Where were you when you first were like, okay, made in the USA?
I was driving, and sometimes a lot of people that know me, I know that I just come up with random stuff. And actually, what was going on in my town at the time was very relevant. We had a company called Century Aluminum in Ravenswood, West Virginia. They basically shut their doors. And it basically annihilated our entire town. I mean, we have a few shops still there, but, it basically turned into a ghost town.
So why did they shut their doors? What happened?
Well, I mean, economic conditions were tough, and, I understand that. But, you think, like I said, without being too harsh, they shut down their doors there, and, they're still doing business outside of the country. And like I said, I'm not trying to be too harsh there because, they're talking about coming back, I think, and reopening that plant. But people don't realize unless they're in that situation, just like Detroit, when something goes into financial ruin, everybody is affected, families.
They are. Well, you know what I hope, Josh? I hope somebody in that town is listening to you or that you can pass this on. But if they want help, reopening that as an employee-owned, made-the-USA aluminum factory, then, you can do that. And there are investors out there, and there are people that will help you guys do that. So you don't have to wait for them to come back. You can do it yourselves, too.
Yeah, and that's, I think that we would take anything right now. I mean, it's like the devastation in that town. I mean, it just slowly erodes, before your eyes. And, it's kind of like almost like what's going on right now. I mean, to me right now, I just feel like America's sleeping again, like right before the great, right before the great world wars, they said America was a sleeping giant. And I think
this really is a war. This really is a war. And looking at your picture on, like that I posted on the Crafted with Pride Facebook page, it's almost like war paint. Yeah. You know what? It's also like war paint because we're at war, and we're at war with I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a dragon. We're at war with a dragon that we don't have to fight. Like, why are we fighting this dragon? You know what? If it's not made in the USA, don't buy it and don't support stores. And let's make some clothes. Let's make some plastic stuff. Let's make some stuff. Let's manufacture.
Well, I think what you're getting at is a common theme now is that we do need to be more self-reliant. I mean, if we can't take care of ourselves, like I said, we have 13 million people unemployed. How are we going to take care of the rest of the world right now? I mean,
how hard is it to make a lamp? I mean, can we just can I please just get a Made in the USA lamp company, please, somewhere?
Yeah, and like this is the thing too is I'm taking this to the extreme. Like I'm living 100% off American-made products. I'm not saying that we shouldn't trade with other countries. That we need trade. I mean, we've always traded throughout history. But like
there's a difference between importing our toothpaste that we can very well make here and importing like fine silks from India. I mean, there's fine silks in India, and there's beautiful things all over the world, and everybody wants the beautiful things. And let's get back to the beautiful quality things all over the world. So it doesn't have to be just made in the USA, but we can at least manufacture a few things for ourselves. We absolutely could.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back, and like I said, I've been doing some research. I mean, you look at our founding fathers. I mean, Thomas Jefferson even said himself, if we can make it here in America, he didn't say it exactly like this. If we can make it here, we should. If we can't, then we go elsewhere. But that's the whole issue: is that America needs to become more self-reliant. You just look at what's going on in today's world right now with the the foreign oil. Iran cuts off the Strait of, I think it's the Strait of Hormuz, and if I said that wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And gas prices shoot up, 30 cents.
See, and that to me feels like war. That feels to me like war.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so if we're going to have an oil shortage and a shortage of plastic, crap, then why can't we regulate ourselves?
Yeah, well, and here's the thing: if we're talking about reducing our dependency on foreign oil, why not reduce our dependency on foreign products? Because once someone says no, we're not going to do this anymore. Look what happens. It's
exactly.
Total devastation.
No more plastic crap for you. That's it. You're cut off.
And it's just really, it's kind of crazy what's going on right now. That's why it's hard for me to see this as a political issue. I just think that this is an American issue, and we need to start taking care of ourselves. And I mean, I'm not saying don't help the rest of the world, but if your family's having trouble, you're going to take care of your family and mend, whatever issue you have. Then you can go out and help other people. It's sad to say it that way, but put your own oxygen mask on first, right? Then help other people. Yeah, I look at America as a family, and I think right now we're just confused. I don't. We're dysfunctional. You look at the rise of the Tea Party, and then the rise of Occupy Wall Street. People realize that something is wrong. But, obviously everybody has different viewpoints. But Google won't just tell us what it is. It's like we're just so blind to everything. We're like, Google, what's wrong? I don't know. I'm feeling lucky. Let's see. What does that mean, Yeah, definitely. We need to ask. That's what we should do. We should ask Google and see what it says one day. Yeah, just bombard it. What does Made the USA mean to you? Hey, so Josh, tell us how the USA can help you. So you're making this movie, you are, in a place where you're like ready to launch. So how can we help you? Well, we're getting to the point where we're ready to launch. We're still in the development stage, and that's why we have everything. That's why we have stuff out on Indiegogo. We're still trying to raise funds. You can go to Indiegogo and contribute to our campaign. We're in the middle of starting a Friends of the Film, where actually American businesses that make their products here or offer some type of services. So can businesses can businesses sign up and get to be in your film then? This is a documentary style film, and we can't guarantee that someone's going to get in the film. But like I said, we are offering a Friends of the Film opportunity based on a contribution basis for these businesses. If you make a product in America or you have a service that has to do with Made in the USA, for a contribution, we'll put your logo on our website, which is basically advertising for these businesses. So it's a great thing. Sure. But people got to realize this is a documentary. We're out to tell a story. We're not telling Josh Miller's story. We're telling the American story. We're talking business. Yeah. So what if people want then what if people want you to come and visit them? Then how would they ask you? Well, they can email me at millermadeinusa@gmail.com, but instead of writing that down and remembering it, I would go to our website at USA30days.com, and you can comment. USA30days.com, Yes, the number 30. It's not written out. Some people ask me about that. And you can actually go to our comment field and try to find out how you can contribute. It explains it. Like I said, we're going to be adding the Friends of the Film area here soon. We've already had, several businesses contact us the first day today that we've been offering it. And we think it's a better way to let businesses get involved in this film. Like I said, we can't guarantee things because it's a documentary film. We're going to go where the story takes us. Hey, Josh, and please do us a favor, please, Mark, who was just on the USAonly.us, if you stumble across businesses, will you please recommend his directory? Because it's an online directory that's free for businesses. For them all to I sure will. And Mark actually sent me a message that got hung up in my inbox. He sent it on February 20th. I sent him a message about an hour ago apologizing, and I responded to him. And I told him I would definitely take a look at the site and do whatever I can, because that's what this is about. We're spreading the word, and we're trying to figure out how do we put people. Yeah, it's what it is. You know, it is what it is. Teamwork, unity, and pride. Yeah, pride in our country.
That's right. Well, thank you, Josh Miller, and you've been listening to Crafted with Pride, Made in the USA, with Liz Havlin, and good evening.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you. See you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.